Good morning. In this video, we're going to talk about the Tor Investigations Tor search engine. So this is actually doing a lot of searching in the background. So we have two different buttons. This is faster, but it's going to have a lot of false positives. This one verifies the keyword that we're looking for, which in this case would be guns. And then when you hit verify, it's going to look at a little over half a dozen different websites, links or link lists that focus on Tor. And if we were to click this, it would also check the local database only. We're not going to check that, so it's also going to check any database or any sites that we've seen in the past for this keyword. So that's, again, why it's taken a long time. You do have to have Tor installed and running, or else it's not going to kick off, because these are looking at onion sites. Now, when I click on verify, I'm going to move this up a little bit. As we can see, it's looked at Tor 66, Not Evil, Dark DIR, a bunch of different locations, even DuckDuckGo, Mia. And like I mentioned before, the internal database that we have. So anytime you go to a .onion site, it automatically gets added to the .onion database. And then if there's anything found on it, the HTML gets stored in that database as well. So that's why we can do the offline search. So at this point, this is going to take a relatively long period of time. So I am going to do a quick time warp, and we'll pause the video. Okay, so I did take a break. I came back, and this is done. So as we see with the keyword for guns, we have a total of 468 findings, 332 unique findings based off domain. And then essentially we have this nice little list here. So we'll be updating this a little bit to try to make it a little bit more screen friendly. But we do have the ability, we have the full domain, we have the title of the site, which engine it was found in. Of course, status response, we can download the true HTML from that web page. Possible crypto wallets. So, of course, there's always possibility of false positives, but in this instance, we do have crypto wallets. A lot of those are accurate. Then you can go to cryptocurrency investigations. Now, surface web links. This is key and important because this site right here is linked to bestonlinechems.com. So if you're trying to identify or de-anonymize a domain or domain net owner, now you can start investigating the surface web on this. So each one of these is going to have their own individual links if they are found. Now, just going a little bit further, a small snippet of the content of where the data was found, if it was found. But also, anytime any sort of crypto address is identified, it is put into the dark web search localized database. And same thing with emails, PGP keys, and a few other items. But all in all, this is the dark web report. Let's scroll down all the way to the bottom. It has a nice little footer. And if we go back to dark web, let's push this all the way down, we do see the data related to the search. So you can see it either the Intel report or text data here. And then at that instance, let's say we want to go to this site. This had a status 200 when we searched. So most likely, let's go to reload. Sometimes this does take a minute to switch over to Tor site. It might actually be down already. So let's try a couple more. Let's do this one. It looks like this just took a little bit longer to load, but this one is up and running. So again, at this point, we can go through the process of doing the capture. If you do capture, the browser tab is not going to do domain search because you can't do a domain search on .onions. So it does look like it found some possible video. Let's go forward. Does not look like videos. So at this point, what we would do is just uncheck these and then skip. If they were videos, then you would check which ones you wanted to look at, and then send selected. It goes over to the video tab. Then, of course, snapshot. So what I'm going to do real quick is do a capture first. Looks like there's a lot of data on this page. And it looks like it tried to resend those what it thought might be videos. And because I reloaded it a couple times, it's pushing it back. Okay, let's do capture real quick. It's probably going to find those videos again, or false positive, but it's trying to find anything that could possibly be video. It would be your job to vet and verify and then send it over. So it's better sometimes to have false positives so you can verify than it would be to just miss the content together. Okay, so now let's go and skip again. And now we have content related to this domain. You can actually go to review evidence. This is a screenshot of the domain. Extracted artifacts. This is all the content that it was able to see so far. And you can click on each individual one. It looks like there's a lot of items that it's spidered. And then some surface websites. So it does look like possibly WordPress on this one. And they are doing search engine optimization, which is kind of funny. So that might actually be a red flag. And then, of course, IP addresses related to stuff that's most likely going to be on the surface web. So we do try to capture any sort of evidence that's in the page or in the HTML or raw data. If we do see IP addresses, we'll pull those out. And then sometimes, depending on if it's ranks high enough, we'll send that over for analysis. But other than that, it's going to do a quick mark for report. Go and close this page. And now we have a report for that specific domain. So all in all, that is the dark web search. Have fun with CSI Linux and the CSI case management system.